User U2 is becoming a parent for the first time and is wondering how to approach sleeplessness with a newborn, as well as how to make sure the sleeplessness doesn't lead to insomnia. And they're also wondering about a snoring partner and things I've said about not sleeping on the couch. If you are having any similar questions, then welcome to mine in the comments. In today's episode, we're going to take a deep look at user U2's questions and I think extrapolate something really helpful from them. But before we jump into the comment, I just want to address something. If you are a long time subscriber to this channel, you may have noticed that Heard Online is back this week, and Mine in the Comment is back this week. But things look a little bit different. What is going on? What's Coach Daniel up to? Well, I just wanted to talk just a second about this ahead of time. So many of you know that during the summer, I was away. I was in Spain, didn't produce any new content. Now I'm back, but not quite really. The thing is that, with scheduling, the kids back to school, but my wife hasn't started her new job. I haven't really figured out how to do things. But then I had this kind of like idea that why don't I film all the episodes I can film on the same day? So today is actually Monday as I'm filming this, but this is going to be, when you watch this, it's going to be Friday if you watch it the first day. So anyway, I'm doing it in a new way, and like I'm wearing the same clothes. So if things look like a little different, then this is why. I've this new idea now where I'm going to create a whole bunch of content on Mondays, and then we're going to have Heard Online every week. We're going to have Mine in the Comments every week. We're going to have Insomnia Insight every week, and so yeah, let me know if you thought it was weird, like, oh, why is Daniel having the same clothes every day? Yeah, I'm not. I'm changing my clothes. Anyways, that's just a little comment there. All right. So with that said, let us jump in and look at this comment. So I said this was from user U2 because I don't know what the actual name is of user U2, so I'm just saying the first thing here, user U2. But yeah, this is a comment on Insomnia Insight number 514, and it goes like this. Thanks for the great tips, Daniel. Your work has been immensely useful for me. So glad to hear that, and thank you for letting me know. It means the world every time. I have two questions I'd be super grateful for some help on. Number one, any advice on how to approach and accept sleeplessness with a newborn? Our first child will be born very soon, and I'm getting a little anxious about the stories I hear from new parents about lack of sleep. And I'm thinking about how this might resurface my past issues with sleeplessness. And this last sentence, I think is going to lead to kind of probably the most helpful insight of this video. Anyway, number two, any tips for how to deal with a snoring partner? I know from past videos, sleeping on the couch is something you advise against, but I'm not sure what to do when it gets particularly loud. Thanks. So first of all, again, thank you, user U2, for asking and for sharing this. And now let's look at these questions. So I actually broke it down in 4 parts because I think there's kind of 4 things we really want to talk about here. One is any advice on how to approach and accept sleeplessness with a newborn. Firstly, I think you're already doing it. The question here is so nicely worded. There is an expectation that there is going to be some sleeplessness with a newborn, which I guarantee that there will be. I've been there. I had 2 small kids at one point, and every single day I would take a nap during my lunch break at work. It was every single day. I was chronically sleep deprived, as all parents are. But you know what? It was a nice time looking back. And it was not easy. It was not an easy time, but there's definitely in my memories of that time in my life, the lack of sleep does not feature prominently whatsoever. But I digress. I don't know why I went on kind of a trip down memory lane, but the point here is that user U2 is seeing that there will be some lack of sleep when you have a newborn. That is a part of life, 100%. But it's saying, how can I accept that? And I think this is the key. I think you're already doing it so nicely. Meaning, if somebody thinks of it as like, okay, I cannot have a night of less sleep. I must sleep this amount. I must sleep in this quality. Then now it's now it's kind of this internal struggle. Now we're trying to have control over something that cannot be controlled, and it's going to be me versus me. We're kind of fighting ourselves and fighting our brain, trying to make it sleep, etc. That leads to struggle. But when we just see that there is going to be some sleeplessness, and our kind of default approach to that is we're going to make it as okay as it can be. I think that's wonderful. And to add something practical is something like accepting that, yeah, we will be tired. There will be some fogginess. We will be sleepy. We will be a little bit more irritable. But that's totally normal and human. It doesn't call for any particular action. I think just that in itself is that's all I have to say about that. And I think actually to summarize that is like the way you're approaching it is very, very helpful. But here's something. I think this I really looked forward to talking about this. I'm thinking of how this might resurface my past issues with sleeplessness. In other words, what User2 is saying here is, what if I have trouble sleeping when I have a newborn, and then my insomnia comes back, which is a natural fear when we have this intense struggle. And so I really want to spend some time on this. So here's the thing. How does insomnia happen? It really, mostly, starts with a story that is something, or really always, I could even say always, starts with a story that is somehow like this. There is one night of less sleep or trouble sleeping, and then there's an attempt at preventing that from happening a second night. And the attempt at preventing that makes it happen a second night. And the attempts at preventing it happen a second night makes it happen a third night, and so on and so forth. In other words, insomnia is a circle of resistance. It's an ongoing struggle to sleep that comes from the attempt at preventing ourselves from not sleeping. That's insomnia. Now, when we see this, what we can realize is, when we go like, I'm thinking of how this might resurface my past issue with sleeplessness. We're seeing sort of like an emerging attempt at trying to make sure we don't have insomnia. There's an emerging attempt to try to make sure we don't have trouble sleeping. And when we know that, insomnia just comes from trying to prevent ourselves from having trouble sleeping, then we see that, I'm sort of going towards a place where I'm trying to control sleep, which was what made me have trouble sleeping in the first place. And that is a huge, huge aha moment, because when we see this, then that circle of resistance is not going to happen, because automatically when we realize like, my resistance, my trying to avoid this happening was the reason it happened again, then we go like, okay, I'm going to step away from trying to have control over this. I'm going to step away from trying to prevent, and then things get easier and easier. I think this is something to really, like, if it was like kind of unclear the first time, listen to it again. And I think this is really, really helpful to see. Now, 3, any tips for how to deal with a snoring partner? To me, the key insight here is to see the difference between sleep disruption and insomnia. Anyone who has slept next to somebody who snores loudly most likely would have had some sleep disruption. It's annoying. It's just some noise that keeps us from sleeping well. And that sleep disruption happens to all of us, right? It can be pain, it can be noise, it can be any number of circumstances. Insomnia, on the other hand, is not driven by the circumstances, but by the fear that the circumstance will keep us awake. When we're scared that the snoring will not allow us to sleep, when that fear is actually the reason we're not sleeping, not the snoring, but the fear, that is insomnia, right? So with this in mind, any tips? I think anything that makes the snoring less bothersome can be helpful when we look at things from a sleep disruption perspective. Earplugs, when we're just like, the snore, then the sound is kind of annoying me. We can put in some earplugs, totally fine. Or like, ask our partner to sleep on their side or something like that. Can be totally fine when we just see that this is sleep disruption. On the other hand, when we're like putting in earplugs because we're so scared and we're like, oh, I hope this works. Please work. I cannot be awake anymore like this. Then what we're trying to block out is actually not the sound. We're trying to block emotions. We kind of block the emotions that come from how we think about the sound. And when we try to block emotions with earplugs or eye masks or anything like that, they just become stronger. Like always, when you try to suppress emotions, they become stronger. So I think understanding the difference between sleep disruption and insomnia is the key here. And in this, it goes on in 4 again here, sleeping on the couch is something that you advise against. Not really. I don't think there's any problem whatsoever with sleeping on the couch. But when we go to the couch because we're trying to escape our fear of not sleeping, that is tricky, because whenever we try to get away from our emotions, they become amplified. But if you're just like, oh, the snoring is annoying, I'm just going to sleep on the couch, there's no problem with sleeping on the couch whatsoever. So those are the key things here. Hope this was really helpful to you, user you too. And please let me know if you see this, what you thought in the comment section. And with that said, we're going to conclude here. I hope you will have a wonderful weekend ahead. And I hope that the content here is leading you to where you want to be, a place of peaceful sleep and peace of mind. If that is happening, please let us know. Share that in the comment section. If not, if you're still struggling, you're not really seeing how things, how our teaching fits for you, for your circumstances, you would like that contextualized, you would like to not approach this alone, you'd like some company, you'd like to start, feeling like yourself again using our offerings, then please head over to thesleepcurveschool.com, check out our coaching options. And if you'd like to join, we look forward to seeing you on the other side. All right, that was it for this week. Look forward to having you back next week, and we shall go from there. Bye now.